Listen closely to what I say here. Quote, "There's only one way out of this reckless and damaging shutdown. Pass a budget that funds our government with no partisan strings attached. The American people don't get to demand ransom in exchange for doing their job. Neither does Congress." What I just read was a direct quote. Those are not my words. They belong to President Barack Obama. We're barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in American history unless Democrats drop their partisan demands and pass a clean, no-strings-attached budget to reopen the government and pay our federal workers. What Barack Obama demanded then is exactly what Republicans are saying now.
That's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, on this ongoing government shutdown now in week 3. Sources are telling me that the Democrats have agreed to keep government shut down at least until the No Kings rally happens this Saturday in Washington, so that they can be there and say they're fighting Trump. No Kings rally. Hundreds of thousands of government workers have been furloughed in just the recent days. The Office of Management and Budget revealing well over 4,000 employees will soon be terminated. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said that Coast Guard personnel will still receive paychecks this week, thanks to the funding from the One Big Beautiful Bill. Joining me now is Minnesota Congressman and House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. And the Senate is returning today after a couple of days off to hold an 8th vote on reopening government. Will they be successful?
Well, good morning, Maria. It's great to be with you. They should be. This is getting ridiculous. It costs the American people $400 million a day, Maria, for this shutdown. The Trump administration, God bless President Trump, they figured out how to pay our troops at least for this month. Yeah. And as you just pointed out, the Coast Guard will also be paid. But this is very damaging to the American public. It's a huge strain on the finances of this country in light of all the great work that Donald Trump and the administration have been doing. To continue this shutdown for what? For a Hate America rally that's taking place on the Mall on Saturday, Maria? This is ridiculous. It's time that this, my grandfather's party, start listening to Main Street, start listening to the American people. They spoke very loudly a year ago, November, when they voted for Donald Trump. 77 million Americans said they'd had enough of this stuff, and they just aren't listening.
Well, I mean, how do we know that they're just not going to do this again? I mean, even if you were to pass a clean continuing resolution that funds government until November 20th, should we expect that they're going to take you hostage again on November 21st and say we want this, that, and the other thing, unless we close down government?
The sad part is they're not taking me hostage. They're taking the American people who they're supposed to be working for hostage. And no, you can't predict what they're going to do. The only thing that I will predict today is that the Democrat Party of yesterday is headed to the ash heap of history. These guys are playing to the most radical, small, and violent base in the country. You'll see them on Saturday on the Mall. They just do not love this country, and these guys are afraid of them. Chuck Schumer et al. Are afraid of them.
So you agree that that's what this is about, that they want to be there and sort of, you know, punch their chest there, that they're fighting Trump in this No Kings rally. That's what this is about.
Yeah, we call it the Hate America rally because you'll see the hate for America all over this thing when they show up. Yeah, I mean, that's the rumor, Maria. The rumor is that they can't end this shutdown beforehand because this small but very violent and vocal group is the only one that's happy about this. I see. If they shut it down beforehand, then they've got to deal with that group beforehand. If they make it through that, then at least they've made it through their Hate America rally, and then they can get this thing done. But you're right, because there is a deadline now that we have burned a whole bunch of time. There's a deadline coming on November 21st. Even if you pass this, we're really gonna have to move.
I'm wondering if they want to have all of this chaotic headlines in the middle of what President Trump just achieved, which was nothing short of extraordinary. The president arrived back at the White House earlier this morning after the historic day overseas, where he signed off on the Middle East peace plan. in Egypt, where they all followed his 20-point peace plan, marking the end of the Israel-Hamas war. Negotiators expected to immediately begin work on phase 2 of the plan, including the full disarmament of Hamas and the return of the remaining deceased hostages. 4 of the 28 have been brought home so far. The president told the Israeli parliament yesterday the U.S. is ready to deal with Iran when Tehran is ready as well. And the president of Ukraine will be meeting with President Trump at the White House this Friday to discuss air defense as Russia intensifies its aggression against Ukraine's energy system. What do you want to see here? Can the president actually move the needle on the war on Ukraine as well with new weapons to Ukraine? Is that what you want to see play out?
Well, first off, if this is what our colleagues on the other side of the aisle think they're going to distract the country and the world from, it's not working, Maria. The president of peace, Donald J. Trump, is only getting more popular as he is now it seemingly has the whole world behind his approach when he campaigned on peace through strength. And what do I want to see? Just what President Trump has been giving us from day one. He is the master negotiator. What he pulled off in the Middle East is incredible. It's a miracle, something that nobody thought could happen. He'll have the same success, I believe, before this is all done with Ukraine.
And, of course, in the middle of all of this incredible success, China comes out and tries to distract with this announcement that it's going to tighten the squeeze on America by tightening export controls of the rare earth minerals. Now, China this morning says it's sanctioning 5 U.S. subsidiaries of South Korea's Hanwha Ocean and threatening more retaliation. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was with me here yesterday, and I asked him about the U.S.'s reliance on China's refining of rare earth minerals. Watch. The DOD acquired a stake representing 15% of MP Materials. Tell us why this is so important, because I know that there are rare earth minerals in the United States and across the world, but it is the refining of those rare earth that happens in China, and that's what we need to bone up in America.
The U.S. used to control rare earth processing and refining, and the Chinese bought a U.S. company. It was required that it was kept in the U.S. for 5 years. 5 years and a day, they moved it to China, and they have a stranglehold on, as you said, the refining and processing. Rare earths in general are not rare, they're everywhere, but it is the refining and processing. And what's happened over the past 2 decades is anytime a refining or processing facility has been set up either in the U.S. or in a free market country, the Chinese come in and undercut the price. So we have invested in Mountain Pass, and we are going to do the equivalent of an Operation Warp Speed to get security in this rare earth processing, and in this at the same time, we are going to guarantee floor prices for the processing, for the refining, because you can't have a free market when there is a non-free market state actor destroying capacity.
You know, Congressman, this deal, what Scott Bessent just told us there in terms of how China acquired the company, the refining company, and then took it over and then took the business altogether. That is the classic example of what John Ratcliffe told me years ago is China's MO, and that is rob, replicate, replace. And my question is, for this last 10-year period, while China was beginning to eat our lunch, where were your colleagues? Where was the Congress? Why are we so reliant on the China supply chain? All those years when they were attacking their political enemy, Donald J. Trump, with this Russia nonsense and the Steele dossier, et cetera, shouldn't they have been focused on America and the supply chains and where we get prescription drugs and where we get advanced semiconductor chips? Now we're reliant on China, and it's boxing President Trump.
Yeah, well, where were we? We were trying to fight this. We had Donald J. Trump for 4 years, which gave us a bit of a fighting chance. But then he, an amazing number of voters mysteriously showed up in the 2020 election, and Joe Biden had the next 4 years. And frankly, Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, this cast of losers that would take a knee for anyone but this country, led us down this road where if we didn't have Donald Trump right now, Maria, I don't know what the future would be. Right now, Donald Trump has credibility with the Chinese. They know when he speaks that he means what he says. You know, in Minnesota, along what is known as the Iron Range, we have one of the largest precious metal finds in the world. The Chinese are literally making President Trump's argument for him by showing that you can't have an adversary in control of rare earths, minerals. You've got to do it yourself. And we've got it right here in this country. It's time that we get back to mining and processing, which we are known for.
And that is why President Trump is using tariffs to get these companies to fire up their supply chains. By the way, you mentioned Anthony Blinken. This Thursday night is the Al Smith dinner, and the two speakers are Anthony Blinken and Mike Pompeo. That should be interesting. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
All right, great to see you. Tom Emmer joining us this morning.